Hi my angels, it's Hailey Reese, and I hope that you guys are excited for today's video because we are going to be talking about something that has freaked all of us out here. Well, if you've been on my channel for a while and see my previous videos, it's probably freaked you out in the past, and that is the dark web and terrifying true experiences that have been had on the dark web. This experience was recently sent to me, and when I started reading it, I felt like maybe you guys would want to hear it. So many of you guys ask me about the dark web and if it really is as dark as people say. So I figured that for today's video, we would get right on into this. So make sure you guys sit back, relax, maybe turn a light on because this is going to be terrifying. Before we get into today's video though, I would very quickly like to thank today's video sponsor, Opinion Outpost. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I can be incredibly opinionated. And when I found out that you could make money by sharing your opinions, I was so excited to hear about it. This is actually one of the easiest ways I've ever seen to start earning legitimate cash, and I just had to come on here and share it with you guys. To be honest with you guys, I know a lot of us have been stuck at home over the past few months, and I feel like Opinion Outpost is one of the easiest ways to start earning legitimate cash from the comfort of your own home. You could be watching Netflix, making money with your opinions. You could be just hanging out, making money. So if you guys want to share your thoughts and opinions and earn some extra money, make sure you guys go ahead and click the link down in my description and start earning money while you're just hanging out. I don't know, I was so excited to share Opinion Outpost with you guys, so thank you so much to Opinion Outpost for sponsoring today's video. And on that note, let's get into something a lot darker. So I'm just gonna get right into sharing this experience with you guys because I skimmed it and I literally had chills. It freaked me out so much. The dark web and just the accessibility that some people have to your information is one of the biggest reasons that I have covers on my webcams on all of my computers in my house because I'm just, well, I don't know if I'm paranoid or if I look into this stuff too much, but I want to share this experience with you guys and then I'll talk a little bit about my opinion on it. So without further ado, let's get into this. I don't know who's gonna hear my warning or if anyone is gonna read this at all, but I made a huge mistake and I got myself in some deep trouble. If you happen to be reading my story, please take it as a warning. The dark web is very real and you're not as invincible as you may or may not think. It all started a few months ago. As you know, school got cut short and I found myself with a lot of free time on my hands. After a while, I decided to leave campus and head home for a while. Both of my parents are considered essential, so it made a lot more sense for me to be in my house than surrounded by college students who are still secretly trying to party. It had been a while since I've spent a good chunk of time at home anyway, and I did miss my old friends and family. So there I was, back in my childhood home, nestled in the small city I grew up in during a global pandemic. At first, I was enjoying the change of pace. Nowhere to be, nothing to do. I actually thought that I could get used to it. But then eventually, like most things, the novelty wore off, and I found myself bored out of my mind. That's when I saw a post from someone I used to go to school with. He was asking if anyone wanted to play some video games together. At first, I wasn't gonna reply, but I thought it might be fun because I was sure he'd be good at it. He was always a very tech-savvy, video game playing, computer hacking type of guy throughout school, so I figured he'd be good at some video games, and to be honest, at this point, I was just excited about having something to do. So I reached out and joined up. He wasn't as awkward to talk to on the mic as I thought he might be, and we were actually getting along pretty well. It was more game talk than small talk, and I was enjoying my time there. We both agreed that boredom had taken over and we were excited to have something to look forward to every day. The more we played, the more I learned about him. He slowly opened up more and more and I was actually amazed. He obviously had a very high IQ. For weeks we had our routine, we'd get up and within a few hours we'd find ourselves back on the game. But eventually that would change. One day, out of nowhere, he wasn't on the game. I reached out with no response. This went on for a few days and I was actually getting a bit worried. When he returned, he was full of excitement and could hardly wait to tell me what he'd been up to. He'd recently decided to download Tor, an anonymous browser. At first, I was so confused. What is an anonymizing browser? I'd never heard of this in my life and had no idea what he was talking about. But then he continued and explained that he'd spent the last few days scrolling through the dark web. I had no idea what the dark web was, but if there was another world of internet out there, I wasn't surprised that he, of all people, had found it. Like I said, he's always been the very techie computer hacking type. He made it sound so exciting, like it was the coolest place on the internet and I was missing out. He said that you could be whoever you wanted to be on the dark web and access whatever you desired. He actually had me feeling a little bummed that I didn't know how to get there. He must have heard the disappointment in my voice because it wasn't long before he offered to get it for me on my computer. I had no idea how that was even going to be possible. Like I said, this was all happening during a pandemic, and my parents being essential workers, I knew that I shouldn't see anyone. He told me to leave my laptop on the front porch and he would do it for me and return it to my porch. I was actually really excited. He didn't mention the trouble I was going to find myself in or how dark the dark web actually is. Everything went as planned and I couldn't wait to get started. At first, the dark web seemed so boring. I felt stupid because I couldn't find anything of interest at first. I decided to try and look for some movies I could watch or maybe free games I could play or download, and then I saw it. A live broadcast called Hero versus Villain. I thought it surely must be interesting, and to be honest, at this point the boredom had gotten to me. At first, I was confused. It looked like it was broadcasting from a barn. Even weirder, it looked like a medical barn. Like imagine an old barn that you would sneak into as a kid to cause trouble, filled with medical equipment and odd-looking tools. In the middle of the room was a girl, chained up. Right away, something felt very wrong about this, but I figured the hero was coming and this must be some sort of a skit. Even though it didn't feel right, I couldn't look away. I should have, though. I'll spare you the details of what I saw, but let's say the girl in the chair was the hero. Supposedly, she'd saved another one of the villain's victims, and he wanted to make an example of her. I clicked out as fast as I could and ran to the bathroom to vomit. I couldn't stop. What had I just seen? What do I do from here? I immediately messaged my friend freaking out, asking if I should call the police. That's when my computer started glitching. My notepad pulled up without me clicking it, and over again, "Don't you dare" was spelled. It wouldn't stop. I looked up, my webcam was on. I held down on the power button and shut it off, and I just started to cry. I didn't touch my computer for days. I didn't sleep for days. I didn't know what to do. When I finally got enough courage to touch my computer again, I searched for anything linked to that hero versus villain, adding in the word death. Anything to try to make sense of what I'd seen. Then I found another live broadcast. When I clicked it, the broadcast was black, but the chat was open. A message popped up. "You don't want to be the hero." Confused, I sat up at the screen, and then the unthinkable. A picture of my house entered the chat. I slammed my computer down. How had this happened? I thought this was all supposed to be anonymous. What had I done? I ran around the house, closing all the windows and making sure my doors were locked. I took my computer and I threw it straight in the garbage. I still don't know what to do. I know I shouldn't be writing this or telling my experience, but it's been weeks and I need to get this off my chest somewhere. I'm never talking about this again after this, and I'm hoping that whoever tracked me down will leave me alone for good. Hear my warning. The dark web isn't worth it. They say curiosity killed the cat, and I've never understood that more. I don't talk to that friend anymore, and to be honest, I don't ever want to. He should have warned me, so I'm warning you. Please be careful. Signed, the wannabe hero. I don't know if this is true. I don't know what to make from this. What I do know is that in my experience of looking into the dark web, people have had some horrific experiences. And one thing that I will say is, whether we want to believe it or not, like I truly in my heart never want to believe that there's truly evil people in the world, but I also watch a lot of true crime, so I know that that's not the case. And I will never, ever, ever, ever mess with the dark web. It just freaks me out anytime I hear experiences, whether they're fabricated or whether they're legitimate. It just doesn't seem like something to be messed with. But I want to know your guys' thoughts and opinions on this experience. Have any of you heard of the dark web? Do you know anybody who's accessed it? Have you ever accessed it? I hope that you never do, but please let me know all of your thoughts and opinions down below. And I guess that's it for today's video. Fingers crossed that this doesn't bite me in the butt for talking about it on the internet. With all that being said, once again, I would like to thank Opinion Outpost for sponsoring today's video. I super appreciate it. Also, if you're new to my channel or you are just not yet subscribed, but you enjoy my content, please go ahead and click that subscribe button and please give this video a big thumbs up. And remember, my loves, do all things with kindness. Until next time, I love you guys.